Hello everyone. Today I'd like to show you how you can win a chess game playing for checkmate when you are up a full queen. So that would be a situation like this one here. Let's assume the opponent king is in a very central situation like here, and your starting position is maximum disadvantageous. Still, you can force a win if you let your pieces cooperate. Let me show you how you go about it. So let's say white is to move. Then the first thing you should do is activate your king. You would perhaps play this move. Okay, black can basically move wherever he wants. Let's say he goes here. Okay, then, for example, now the king can make several moves, can go here or can go here. Obviously, the king cannot go here because that's controlled by the opponent king. But now comes a very important little thing to remember. The queen can become active and makes a very strong move, namely this one. Please keep in mind this long jump of the queen. What does it achieve? If you see how many squares the king has now left, it is a little bit as if the queen sends some energy rays along the rank, the fifth rank, and this F file. So the king cannot go here any longer, cannot go here, here, cannot go here. In fact, the number of squares available has minimized dramatically. Okay, let's continue. Let's say black goes here. Okay, then what to do? We have basically two options. We can approach the king, but I would suggest another little thing. I would say grab more space and drive the king towards the edge of the board. You can go here, and now I would perhaps go here, which will force the king either backwards or down one rank. Let's say he goes here. Then now we already know the king cannot ever go onto one of these squares, so if we just follow the king, and it doesn't, let's say this is even a cleverer move than going with the king here, because now it's really difficult for black to find squares left. The only good square, or the only square you can actually use now, would be this here. And now we have to start to be a bit careful, because there's one little thing we must avoid. But first we can approach the king again. And here we see there's only one square left, namely this one. And it's now, well, that's exactly the moment where you have to be careful. Basically, it's a good idea to restrict the opponent's king's space, but it would be utterly stupid to restrict the space more and play, say, this move. In this situation, your opponent cannot move his king anymore. As you can see, this is controlled, this, and this. In other words, the king can't move, but he's not standing in a check. In other words, this is not checkmate. We call this stalemate, and that's well, second best if you consider it. It would the game would end with a split pawn, with a split point in a draw. In other words, the move from here to here is not good. The best move, it seems, would be something like queen to here, yeah, That's why we bring the king together with the queen towards the enemy king. We want them to cooperate. We give a check, and this means until the end of the game, the king can only use those two squares. He has to go here now. And now it's very easy. The only thing I need to do is to bring over my king here. For example, I take this square. There's just one move for black. Has to go here. And I follow with my king. Again, let's put that back. Again, if I were aiming for restricting the space, I can do that again here. But again, just stalemate. So be careful, don't do that. It's correct to follow with the king. Only move left. King goes here. And now you can give checkmate at 1 by putting your queen here. Now the black king cannot move any longer, but is standing in check. We call that checkmate. And basically this technique works from anywhere you might want to start. I gave a relatively difficult to handle starting position, but it doesn't matter. The strategy is always the same. Approach the opponent king with your own king, and at the given moment use your queen to restrict the space and make the house, as it were, or the castle, the king's castle, smaller and smaller and smaller, until finally the cooperation of king and queen leads to a checkmate. That's it for today. Next video about how to checkmate a king with a rook to follow soon.